Alright, I think I finally have this thing working. Alright, so let's see. We want to do this. Alright. Can go to YouTube. Okay. Stream URL. Okay. That's what it is, right? I guess I could do it like this. Okay. We'll just fix it. I don't even know what this is. Alright, cool. Alright, I think we're off and rolling here. I think. Okay. Just get these out to the edges. And beautiful. Alrighty, boys. Welcome back, welcome back. It wouldn't be a new season without me having to re-download OBS to get this video out after I stalled on it for like 4 weeks. But we are here, and we are live before the game. This will probably run pretty close up to it, and yeah. Looking forward to this season with everyone. There was been a lot that's been going on, at least recently. The off season was extremely dead. Not surprising per se, but yeah, looking forward to this year. Looking forward to competing this year myself. And yeah, I'll go over my thoughts on the league, the off season, draft recap. It's gonna be brief, but some just picks and notes, I guess. Um, and then I'll give my playoff predictions and my 101 overall predictions. So, to start off, let's start off with the topics from the off season. First things first, just some, I guess, not criticism, but um, yeah, I'm not sure what to call it, but basically, I just want to make sure that during the off season, everyone is still like reasonably responsible about answering people's messages in trade in like a timely manner. I mean, there's a lot of people who like I just know for a fact just turn notifications off in the off season. If you're going to do that, I would appreciate you checking in more regularly, I guess, than not. I was hearing instances from people of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you know, it's a long time, I think, without at least answering if you're gonna or checking it without having notifications off. I mean, I don't think you even really have to worry about having notifications on in the off season because it's fucking dead anyway. So you're probably gonna get extremely minimal notifications as it is. Um, yeah, just a little janitorial note there, I guess. Um, I wanted to talk about the roster limit increase and how I thought that that worked rather successfully. Um, if anyone feels like it didn't work or if they have different ideas, always open to hearing them. But I did personally think that the roster increase for just the offseason was like a nice way to do it. Gives you some more options. You can actually hoard players a little bit in the offseason, but ultimately you have to cut it down when the time is right. Yeah, I thought that worked well. I guess the last note that I wanted to talk about in the off season is just giving people a heads up. I guess. Um, I don't know what some people were generally thinking when it came to the off season and Fab, but I saw like at least half probably the teams in the league like end the off season with like more than like 50 to 60% of their fab. And it's just gone. And it's gone. Um yeah, just a heads up on that for the future. You might want to consider actually using your off season fab. But that's here nor there. I just thought that I give people a heads up because I just was kind of blown away by the fact that I saw so many people with like $60+ in fab still. But, you do you. All right. Next thing we can move on to. I want to talk about the draft a little bit. I'm not really gonna talk about like the trades per se that led up to the draft, like people trading positions, like just for instance, I changed my positions with like London and Bijan trade. Like we're not gonna go over the nitty gritty of that. This is gonna be just more of a general look at the draft board, my thoughts, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so let's see. Um, Draft was good overall. Everyone was really on top of it, which was great. The pick rate was definitely fast. Everyone was pretty much on top of it, so loved that. Loved the participation there. Downside of the draft, there wasn't a single draft day trade. Um, compared to last year, that's crazy because there was a lot. Oh well, not hold on. I take that back. I should say there wasn't a single draft day trade. I think until mine, which was 4-6. Yeah, 4-6. I think there wasn't a single draft day trade until then. And I had to like offer like my left kneecap, elbow, shoulder to like freaking get a fourth round pick. I mean, I pretty much do understand why no trades happened, just because I was talking to people and a lot of the pick values in people's heads were just either insanely inflated and were just looking for an incredible overpay, or they were just so sold on like their preparation that like in order to move them off the pick, you were gonna have to overpay. But yeah, like talking during the actual draft about trades was just pure pain. Nobody had any interest in like moving anywhere. But yeah, just those two notes, I guess, about the actual feeling of the draft. Um, Going to the picks, since everyone pretty much held all the picks that they had going into it, it was a lot of just, I think, people looking, or I guess they just, like I said before, like preparation went into people's picks and they were just ready to pick when somebody fell to them. It felt like, I mean, there was a lot of people moving around like in the first and second, um, that I think some people were not expecting to move in certain ways. Um, to start off with, I guess like the first round was like the first three picks were like pretty chalk. Um, I can respect the Henderson 4 pick. I really wanted him at 6, so the fact that he went at 4 is not surprising to me. Um, Cam Ward fell to the 1-5, which I thought was pretty incredible. With I believe at this point Pajak had traded his third QB, so you were looking at Andy and Pajak, who both needed a quarterback. um, Passing on Cam Ward. Um, yeah, not surprising that uh, like I don't know. I guess a lot people weren't really high on the quarterbacks this year, but him falling to the 1-5 was a little crazy to me. The 1-7 Tyler Warren pick is looking pretty savvy at the moment. Um, I think he's gonna do well for the Colts. My pick Travis Hunter, wide receiver Travis Hunter, looking like he could be a value in the long run. We'll see what ends up happening with the Jaguars. The first game was like such a blowout that you didn't even really get to see anything. So we'll look forward to hopefully better days there. Um, yeah, Judkins. Then the double Dave pick, and this is where I gave my worst pick of the draft. I'll tell you my worst pick and my best picks. I couldn't really come up with like a secondary worst pick, but in my opinion, I think the worst pick was Caleb Johnson at the 109. Um, like I know that it could have been 110, sure, because it was Dave, but uh, I mean, a lot people were overhyping it so much. A lot of Jalen Warren disrespect. After week one, we're also, like I said, including plenty of hindsight here. Kenneth Gainwell is literally a factor. It's Caleb like barely even saw the field. Um, Hold on, can I click this? Yes. Caleb saw his snap percentage was 4%. 4%. So he like basically didn't even see the field. One thing between him and some of these other like I mean I guess he was the next one, but he was round 3, and then like before the Scadabos Teutons, that were day 3 picks. Caleb was a round 3 pick. RJ Harvey going before him was a surprise to a lot of people. Again, post week 1, I don't think it's surprising. Like basically any time RJ Harvey has actually touched the ball that I've seen, he's been extremely explosive. Um, but he is in a backfield committee for the time being and is 24. So he doesn't have a lot of time to really push for that starting role in snaps. Um, Also, he wears number 12, which is just disgusting as a running back. It looks so gross. But besides that, I was a big RJ Harvey fan going into the draft. Then he got picked second round, and I knew I was never gonna get him. Um, yeah, I thought Caleb Johnson was the worst pick in the draft. There, I said it. Um, then you had Loveland by Pajak, double tapping tight end there, really fucking me in the moment. Basically, ended up making me want to trade for Loveland. Unfortunately, I had to give up probably a little bit more than I should have. But I also did. I've been scouting Loveland for like 2 years. I've been a huge like fan before he even went and got picked 10 overall. Um, you know, he's in a good spot, but again, we're entering hindsight here, and he yeah, he did not have a good week 1. But again, better days. Matthew Golden for Cody, which is just like I could not believe Cody did not take Jackson Dart here. Unbelievable. Unbelievable in his QB situation not taking Dart here. But he decided to go with Golden. Uh So I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on Golden. Like big hype in the draft, fast fast dude, but great route runner. But like in a situation where he's in Green Bay, where they literally just don't produce like above 800-yard wide receivers. So maybe he can break the mold, but I wasn't. I was glad that Cody took him because then we go to one of the best picks of the draft, in my opinion, which was Egbuka. Um, we're also, again, including hindsight here, after the first week and Godwin coming out later, and it looked all doom and gloom when he was like 19th overall. Obviously, everything out of camp, first day performance, everything you see from him will be great um, as long as he can stay healthy. Baker likes him, his team likes him. Apparently, he called the last play that won them the game, and he scored the touchdown on in that first game, according to Mike Evans. But at the 201, I thought that was really good value. I basically had him behind Judkins as the next pick. Um, so I had him at like the 109 spot. So him falling to me at the 201 was a gift. I was it was tough to pass on Dart for me too, but I just Egbuka was so much higher on my list. Um, let's see. The rest of the second draft, good dart pickup for Andy. He somehow passed on Cam Ward, but still got away with getting a first round quarterback, which is like pretty wild. And like they're already calling for him after week one because Russ was so ass. Um, so like that could end up being actually valuable this year for him, as he looks like to have a pretty strong starting lineup, and now he's got a good QB3. Um, yeah, not much else to talk about. Like a lot of just perspective players from here on out in the draft. Like nothing really stands out. Um, Isaac Tesla could be something. Bashal Tootin, at least he's a backup now. He's not third string, so good for him. Dylan Sampson actually seeing snaps, which is nice. I think I had him paraded actually above RJ Harvey in the draft, um, but right behind Harvey, right behind Judkins. So I think that they were both top picks. They're seeing good. They're looking good in the actual season. Tyler Show couldn't beat out Spencer Rattler, so yeah, big fail there. He's like 27. So when's his time? Um, let's look. Third round, nothing. Ao Manor at the end was a good pick. Jaden Blue, healthy scratch, week one. Kyle Williams will make his way. I have faith. There's no way he could be another bust for the Pats. No way. There couldn't be another one, right? Um, should there? Should there? Apparently, his draft position corroborated by the fact that he is still the QB3, unfortunately for him. But the fourth round actually had some interesting picks, I guess. Harold Fannin was my other, we're going on hindsight here, but was my other best pick of the draft. He was very immediately involved in week one, and he was the highest producing collegiate player receiving wise last year. He had every opportunity to come in and actually be a factor on a shit Browns passing attack with only like Judy and Tillman, who aren't horrible in my opinion, but like compared to other rooms there, it's very weak. Um, let's see. Ty Felton, he's getting a little bit of time, and Brashard Smith could be somewhere. Isaiah Bond is apparently on the Browns now, which is wild. Nobody knows anything about that. But yeah, that's the draft recap, in my opinion. Pretty solid one. I was happy to come out with what I had. It seems like I said, since everyone was staying packed, that they are going to stay where they are, and they were happy picking the players that they were picking at the time. It seems. Let's see. What do we got here? All right. Let's see. So on to the off season. Um, Off season was pretty nice. So a lot of people picking players up at the very beginning of free agency. Um, just a couple notables are obviously Bill Krosky Merritt, the most toxic dynasty player unless you own him that you will ever hear, because God, the people chanting like on Twitter and stuff about this motherfucker make me just want to prey on his downfall, even though he like is actually extremely likable. But God, dude, I want him to fail just so all these motherfuckers shut up. But and the fact that his name is Bill, that's I actually respect that. That's fun. Doesn't make any sense, but sure, we'll go with Bill. Um, what is there? Torrey Horton, wide receiver three. Dante Thornton Jr. for the Raiders. Um, let's see. Let's take a quick look. Those are the ones I remember off the top of my head. Let's see. Zacchaeus could end up being something. It's not a bad pickup. I mean, he's not going to be anything crazy in terms of this. Oh, Chris Rodriguez, like, I don't know, he's getting some buzz. What do you get for a snap share week one? Lol. Just kidding. Um, why is he not playing? Coach's decision. Healthy scratch. Oh, dude, Merritt is in there, dude. Holy shit. A lot of people were saying, like, I don't know, the coach came out and he was like, yeah, no, Chris Rodriguez is going to be our short game back. Like, we really like what he does, and he's a healthy scratch for the second week in a row. Okay, dude. Let's see. I think J. Roy unironically picked up Juju, and he's actually could be in line for some targets now. Payjack buying Darren Waller, who like Mike McDaniel literally came out the other day and was like, "Yeah, if he dies, and we move on," which is like insane to say. Because the guy hasn't even taken a snap for the team yet, and they're like, "Yeah, no, if we can cut him." But I like the Efton Chisholm pickup. He didn't see much week one. Right? Yeah, he saw nothing. Unfortunate for him, but like I really liked him in the preseason. He's got that kind of Edelman, Amendola, Welker, white slot receiver thing going for him. Hunter Renfro. Kind of reminds me probably the most of Hunter Renfro. But yeah, he could end up going somewhere possibly. Let's see. Yeah, there's the Juju pickup. Hmm. Not seeing much else here at the moment. Picking up Henry Ruggs. Wild. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Monongai, Merritt. Oh, Trevor Etienne. Trevor Etienne. Not a bad pickup. Ollie Gordon has seemed to be like a pretty good pickup. He didn't do anything, I don't think, in the first week. 25% snap share, but like Dolphins were also just pure straight ass in that game. Let's see. Gadsden. I was not happy that I didn't get. What did he do anything? Nope, just kidding. Doesn't matter. Is he healthy scratch? Yeah, healthy scratch. Okay. Tyrod. Yeah. Those were the notables. Uh, let's see. Off-season trades. So a lot of off-season trading. I just want to highlight some of the big ones. Um, let's see. We can start with J. Roy's trades. J. Roy traded after winning last year. He decided that he wanted to sell off the team before it was another year older and another year less valuable. He now, after winning, has the ability to do that. And to be honest, like even after these trades and a lot of his kind of capital going into draft capital, let's see. So two firsts, second, 2 seconds. 1 second. So, okay. He's got three firsts over the next 3 years. I know that he hates the 26 draft, so I guess he's just happy with having nothing there. But, you know, he's got a young enough team and a decent core to kind of build this thing back up. Um, yeah, good for him. Um, he got his boy McCarthy, who had a pretty, you know, bad week one, but lit it on fire in the fourth quarter, and actually ended up with a solid fantasy score. So I guess we'll something to monitor there. He gets Jaden Higgins, who I basically drafted Higgins because first off, a lot of teams wanted him. I know the Pats wanted him. I know Houston wanted him. I think I heard something like the Browns or somebody else wanted him too. Um, Not great company, to be fair, with teams wanting you. But, he was basically almost a first round pick. I looked at him enough that I liked what I was seeing. Tall guy, can move, red zone threat. Um, I was willing to part with him only because I just have so much depth at wide receiver. Um, and I really think that I could hopefully make a run this year. So that's why I traded for a bunch of old pieces of shit and AJ Brown, Kamara, who is not a piece of shit, and Mixon, who is a piece of shit. Um, Hopefully Mixon plays this year and he's not completely clowning the Texans. AJ Brown, I don't have any worry about, but tough week one. Oh yeah, and I guess he gets Besh, who had a lot of hype coming out. He's a second round pick, but I think he's like wide receiver 3 or 4 on that team at the moment. Um, Second pick or second trade was J. Roy getting his stack and some draft capital and Braylon Allen, who was getting good buzz over the off season. He's also like the youngest player. I don't know if he's still the youngest player in the league, but he was like 19 or 20 last year, so he's got like a lot of tread on the tires, plenty of time to you know, make a name for himself, and I think he's solid for sure. Um, Rough Riders, who was also involved. I guess the other big trades were like Cody's, I guess. Rough Rider was involved with both of J. Roy's and Cody's trades. He gets Devonte Adams and Saquon Barkley, both win now pieces. Barkley obviously being great last year, and Adams on a new team. I think Adams is Adams. He's still gonna be really good, but also just old. So like only has a little bit more tread left on the tires, probably of actual effectiveness. Um, let's see. Okay, Cody's trades. Cody looked to fix his QB position instead of drafting Jackson Dart by making 2 trades for different quarterbacks. He tiered down for Jared Goof, um, Xavier Worthy, and a 27 first. Um, Not a horrendous trade, like for a tier down, basically picking up like a good wide receiver who, if he didn't get hurt, would probably have like went off week one. Probably would is going to be effective for years, I would think, just simply because of his speed and Mahomes. Um, 2027 first. Yeah, sure. Good, like not a bad trade. I mean, some people I talked to were saying that like I heard it 50-50. I heard some people were like, "Wow, that was like right down the middle." Some people were like, "Okay, yeah, I definitely like Cody's side." Some people were like, "Yeah, he didn't get enough for Hurts." So it was kind of so that means it was a good trade in my opinion because a lot of people had different opinions on the actual trade. Good trade for Rough Riders overall. He's clearly in all-in mode. Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Saquon, Mike Evans. I think like the average age of his team, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelsey. Yo, dude, you gotta change your name to the retirement home. Oh, you gotta change your name to the retirement home, dude. All Gino, all these guys are old as fuck. I respect it though. They're all win now. He's definitely going for it this year. Um, so good luck to him. Uh, it's a solid team. Hurts is gonna put up points. Barkley Hurts is just a lot of touchdowns. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, the ageless wonder. Mike Evans will have a better. Mike Evans and Devontae Adams will bounce back. I would think at least relatively this week. Judy can. I don't even know what Judy did this past year. What or this past week? What did he do? 5 for 66, 8 targets. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. What did Kelsey end up doing? One one teammate injured, and then a 2 for 47 and a touchdown. Okay, but yeah, good trade for him as an all-in now team. He's basically going for it all over the next year or two for sure. So Cody, if he gets a couple, if Rough Riders gets a couple of if he gets like a retirement or two at the end of this year, his team could look a little bit weaker for sure, and that 27 could end up being like a possible non-playoff pick, depending on how people develop over the next 2 years. I just can't imagine Mike Evans going for 1,000 at 34 and Devontae Adams at like 33, 34. Kelsey, like if he's still playing, is crazy. Yeah, there's a lot about to leave that team over the next 2 years, and no draft picks to replenish it. So this is as all in as it gets for him. But I respect it. Let's see. Then the other Cody trade. For Bryce Young, who pooped his pants on live TV this past weekend. Who did they play again? Oh, they played the Jaguars. Oh, yeah, God. If you can't score on the Jaguars defense, you're in trouble. Ted McMillan looks solid. Good piece. And I don't know, maybe Bryce will kind of recover himself a little bit over the next few weeks as they kind of settle in. But they have no Coker or they traded Adam Thielen, so it's ultimately a much younger squad with some depletions already. Um, I did talk to Cody about trading for Bryce Young personally. Um, and then I looked at his stats, and he has the most fraud stats during that run that he was good last year. Like, it's actually crazy how fraud his stats are. Um, and I told Cody as such. Um, and looks like I may have been right. Jury's out. Meanwhile, Mike Aarons picks up Kirk Cousins, 64 million dollar backup Kirk Cousins, or 80 million dollars. I don't know what the fuck he's making, but it's disgusting. Just the backup, my boy Penix. DK, who ended up, I don't remember if he got traded to Pitt after Mike. This was August 20th, so no, he was on Pitt. At this point, he's gonna have probably a pretty solid year, judging based off the first one. I mean, he was playing like Sauce Gardner and stuff like that on the first weekend. He still did some stuff. So I like DK. I think this is a solid trade for Mike. He also picks up Cody's 27 second. Uh, so yeah, solid trades. Let's see. And then me and Pajak was the only other one that I looked at, which was the Loveland trade, which was McLaurin and a second for a 27 second for Loveland. That's just me putting my money where my mouth is. A little bit of an overpay for Loveland, but getting out from under 30-year-old Terry. As much as I love Terry, he's still going to be great. Like I would have had no problem holding on to him, but Paycheck came to me with the trade, and it was worth doing in my eyes for somebody that I really wanted. Okay, so I think that's all the trades for the offseason, all the pickups. Yeah, it was a pretty quiet offseason, even though like the activity was solid in the actual group in terms of trading and picks during most of the time prior to the draft. After the draft, it went really quiet. Not surprising per se, but it feels like this league once everyone's done with the draft, everything's settled. Um, a, you know, some people just like to sit on their team and just see where the dice fall with how they made the team after the draft. Um, I heard some trades from people talking to me that I couldn't believe weren't accepted. There was a lot of trade, like at least probably 3 or 4 trades that I heard people say that they offered other people and the other person did not accept it. And I gleefully said, wow, great. I'm very happy that that person did not actually take that trade because it's a great trade for them. Don't know what they're doing, but sure, I'm all down for you not taking that trade. It, I was shocked at some of them. One in particular blows my mind. But that's neither here nor there, and I'm not going to blow up either person's spot, even though the person who I'm talking about probably knows who they are. Uh, in terms of the offer, not the person who turned it down. All right. Part 4 of the video: playoff predictions and 101 overall predictions. All right, let's get a little fancy here. And by fancy, I mean let's open up a spreadsheet. All right. All right. Okay, let's see. So these are my off the cuff playoff predictions. I didn't actually look at this ahead of time. I generally know who I was thinking. So, in my opinion, the upcoming playoffs will be myself. Shocker, I know. But I am planning to make the playoffs, hopefully, with my team. Despite myself having possibly the hardest record, or the hardest schedule, or top 2 hardest schedule, I think. Because I literally play 3 people at the start of the season that I believe are going to be playoff teams. So I have to play them twice this year. Um, so that kind of stinks. Hopefully, I can. Basically, me making the playoffs might be dependent on me winning a bunch of those games. So it'll be pretty telling if I am not if I'm probably 0-3 um, by the end of the last 3 weeks. I guess we'll see what will happen at that point. Uh, but let's see. Second person, I got Corey. I don't think that there's any possible way that Corey does not make the playoffs this year. Like last year, he had to do like everything in his power to miss the playoffs. Like, and I still don't really understand how he did it. Holy fuck, what was that? But yeah, I have Corey making it this year. I think that he has a good team. He's got some depth, and he's as long as he can stay healthy, gonna be in the playoffs. Let's see. Mm, I think I'm gonna say Chris. and Thor are gonna make the playoffs. Um, as long as their QBs stay healthy. If their QBs go, they're cooked. Absolutely cooked. They'll have Purdy for the first 3 weeks here. And I guess if Joe Burr goes down, they have Browning. But yeah, I like Chris's team overall. Very weak at running back, but even despite that, he's got good tight ends, even though one of them's hurt now. Oh no, I'm actually I'm maybe pulling back on Chris. I'll leave him there for now. We'll make this into like a moving tier list. Um, all right. Mm, I think like a lot of looking at these teams, a lot of these teams I think have a chance of making the playoffs as long as they stay healthy. For a lot of these teams that are possible playoff teams, if they get like one or two injuries, they just do not have the depth to recover to like really stay aggressive versus some of the other top teams in the league if they're unfortunate enough to play them during those injuries. Like there are a few teams um, that I think that they have great starting lineups, but like once you go below into the bench, you realize like they are fucking cooked if they actually have starting lineup injuries, especially like two or more. I'm gonna go Rough Riders. I think he has some depth still. Chris Godwin's not gonna be back till week 5. Um, I forget who else he had somebody else on the bench. He's got a strong starting lineup, so I mean I'll give the guy the respect that he deserves for actually going all in on it. He does actually have a QB3 in Tua. Week 1 made that look rough. Um, yeah, what else we got here? We got Chubb, Mostert, Thielen, Godwin. Um, yeah, Otten can fill in. He's got Dylan Sampson chilling in the taxi, so you could always bring him out if he really maintains some sort of role in this offense. He's got some depth, but a strong starting lineup. Um, let's see. Okay, I'll put Matt in here. I might have to bump Chris and Thor, which is crazy. But yeah, I might have to. I'm putting Matt in here. I like Matt's team. I like his wide receiver core. Nabbers Wilson was so slept on this year. I can't believe most people like thought he was just gonna be bad when he was going for over 1,000 yards every season he's played, and half of those he had Zach Wilson, like Tim Boyle, like Trevor Simeon, like dead Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Like this shit was tragic, and he still was putting up over a G a year. Like, yeah, I did not understand the rhetoric that Fields' his ass. Like, and he was not gonna be like Fields is better than Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, all these people like put together for sure. Um, that was always my take. Um, ETN back from the dead. The Jacksonville the Jacksonville backfield roulette ended up going landing on black. Uh, what is Trevor Etienne's number? I don't remember. Black one because Trevor Etienne is the lead back, and yeah, he's in a Liam Cohen offense. I guess we'll see. As long as he stays healthy, I think he's gonna do well. He had horrendous efficiency last year, which was a lot of the reason why people didn't like him for this season. Uh, 2.8, 2.2, 3.4, 2.4, 3.2, 2.3. Low averages on passes as well. A lot of red in here. So good for him making a comeback. Chuba, how did Chuba do? 67% snap share. Like I heard that it was going to be a little bit more of a backfield split than it maybe ended up being. Chuba did end up having kind of that 17-yard passing touchdown that kind of saved his day a little bit. Um, but he could, Chuba was great last year. I think he'll be good again this year still. A lot of green. He's not really a pass catching back per se, but he gets receptions, 5, 4. Like can't complain about that. Um, but on top of that, Matt's team kind of is one of those teams that besides QB, if he gets hurt in like let's say T. Higgins goes down with his annual like hamstring, or Jane Waddle, who's already questionable, is like questionable a lot, or Hubbard goes down or something like that. If two of those people go down, or even if one of them goes down, especially his top three wide receivers, you got to put Waddle in there. If you look at his bench, I guess if Chuba goes down, he's got Dowdle at least, but I don't know if it will be like full backfield. Is this 34? Okay, so it was only these two. So Dowdle could just pick it up. So that was a good pickup in the offseason by him. But the wide receivers are pretty uninspiring. Lockett, Cooks, Reynolds. How did Reynolds do first week? 97% snap share, 3.8 points. Got it. Um, and then he's got a few just I guess like tight end, like he could throw in a flex if he needed, but overall not like, I mean, he can always buy stuff. He can always buy players and kind of add to his depth, but maybe he'll get as lucky as he did last year and he won't have like any injuries again, besides maybe Waddle. But and if that happens, I think he's making the playoffs. I think he has a chance of making it either way, but uh, that's one of the teams that I wasn't huge on the depth. The other one is Allied Andy. He's got a pretty good starting lineup that I like. The QBs are great. Running backs are great. Wide receivers are solid. I think Ted's going to be great. I like Debo this year. I think he's going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. Rome will probably break out this year, but he's already starting Chiggy, and his wait, what is going on here? Yeah, he's already starting Chiggy in one of his flex spots. And if you go down his list here, he's got like Christian Kirk as like his best secondary option. That's like it. I guess he could pull Fannin off the taxi if he wanted to kind of supplement, give him another option if he wants to make a run. But yeah, this is why I don't have Andy in the playoffs. Uh, Matt, I think, might be able to overcome it just because he's at least got the backups. But Andy, great team if it stays healthy. It's football. I just don't anticipate that happens. Um, and then the last team is Brockness Monster. Um, number one in the league at the moment for a reason. He's got a very deep team with 6 first-round picks coming up. He's got great running backs, like solid wide receiver core. They're gonna put up some points, nothing crazy, but like Zay Flowers was, I think, wide receiver 1 this week. So good for him. But let's see, Shakir could be good. Let's see, Scatabo, and then like his bench is just obviously incredibly deep. And Rice is coming back. A.O. Manor, um, Harvey, Scatabo, Johnson, Purdy. Oh, he's got Jonu in for Purdy because Purdy can't play. If he makes it through like the next like 2-3 weeks with no quarterback and is like, I don't know, like 500, yeah, he's gonna make the playoffs. So these are my top 3 teams for the playoffs. 101 pick. Let's see. So this is one of the ones I actually thought about a little bit. Um, and so prior to week 1, my picks were either Near or Mega Weenie Mite. And what is this? Okay, I don't do this then. So Near or Mega Weenie Mite. I definitely lean more towards Near Mike Aaron's team. I actually like Payjack's team. It's young and it's gonna be like fairly volatile, but I think it's gonna pick itself up a little bit later in the year. I wouldn't be surprised if Payjack beats plenty of teams this year, like and ends up like closer to 500 for sure. But tough first week. Um, Post week one, I have Cody's team and Mike Aaron's team battling for the 101. Cody had a second worst scoring in the league. And if you actually look at his team, the reason he had the second worst scoring is like really bad for his longevity. Like Kenneth Walker only getting a 40% snap share, even if he gets a 50% snap share or 60 some days, like having that as your running back two, or I guess that's his running back three. But like, he didn't end up being what you thought he was gonna be. He probably won't be. Nico will survive. Xavier Worthy, and Cooper Cup. I guess we'll start with Worthy. Worthy getting hurt. For some odd reason, KC's trying to rush him back. I guess they are really fucking desperate. They have a tough beginning of schedule, if I remember right. I mean, they got to play the Eagles. They could be 0-2, which is weird territory for KC, with like no real help on the way, unless they trade for like a Tyreek Hill or something. But Xavier Worthy, he's gonna do good if he can stay healthy. But when you dislocate your shoulder, the odds that you re-dislocate it are really high. Um, so something to watch going forward. Cooper Cup was ass. 88% snap share. Didn't even see the fucking ball. Um, Feels bad. I think he'll probably recover somewhat, but I mean he could just be completely washed. McCaffrey actually good. So McCaffrey actually being good is the only like positive sign for Cody, because the lines were horrible with Jared Guflofsky, and Bryce Young was fucking terrible versus the Jaguars, which is horrible. So two bad quarterbacks, um, basically like one good wide receiver and like two good running backs, and then after that he's got Golden. We'll see what happens. Jawan Jennings, we'll see what happens. Leggett, um, QJ, he's got some interesting things on the bench, I guess. But yeah, Kenneth Walker not being good probably this year is going to hurt a lot. And if Xavier Worthy gets a secondary injury, is out for the season, and Cup is bad, like, yeah, he's in a much tougher spot. Um, Especially with the quarterback play. I guess you know what? Because of this, I don't think he's going to be the 101. You know what? We're fixing it. I have Mike Aaron's as the 101. um, I did trade him Bijan. Like he's got like a couple star-studded players. Bijan, Jefferson. I mean, we'll see what's happened with Stroud. Metcalf is solid. Williams, but like, look at his starting lineup already. Like begging on a J.K. Dobbins, which who will do good. Solid. But we're already starting wide receiver three as Bateman. We're starting um, two tight ends who did fair to be good. Two did good to be fair. But if Daniel Jones or like his QB doesn't like basically kind of alter his points for, his bench is kind of looking tough with only, I think he's really only got Judkins. Yeah, there's nobody there to like kind of supplement these starter players. So unless he's like really balling out with this starting lineup, yeah, I think he's gonna be the 101. All right, let's get back to the game. I'm late, so yeah, just signing off. Enjoy the game tonight, and looking forward to the rest of the season. I'll probably do another one of these in about 3 weeks. Later.